Did you know about these 3 true disturbing October horror stories? Don't watch these horror stories alone, especially the last one. It was late October when my girlfriend Stacy and I decided to take a road trip to Stowe, Vermont. We had rented a small cabin through a site that promised cozy country escapes. The place was perched on a hilltop, surrounded by autumn foliage that painted the whole valley in shades of orange and crimson. That view alone felt worth the trip. We were set to stay from Thursday night until Sunday. The cabin used a keypad lock, and the code the owner sent worked without a hitch. The moment we stepped inside, we were hit with that raw, woody scent that only old log cabins seem to have. The interior was warm and rustic wood paneling everywhere, old-style furniture, and just enough modern touches to keep us comfortable. There was a bathroom, a snug little kitchen, 3 bedrooms, and a living room. More than enough space for just the 2 of us. But one thing stood out. A single door was locked. According to the rental ad, it should have been a 3rd bedroom. We figured the owner must have been storing personal belongings there. It wasn't a big deal at first, that first night. After a late dinner in town, we came back, curled up with a movie, and went to bed without giving the locked room another thought. The following day was cloudy and cold, perfect weather for a hike. We spent the morning exploring trails in the nearby woods, surrounded by silence except for crunching leaves and the occasional bird call. It felt peaceful until we returned. After showering, Stacy looked uneasy. She said she heard something from behind the locked door. She described it as faint, like a radio playing somewhere in the distance. Curious, I pressed my ear to the door, but the sound was gone. I knocked once, half to tease her, which made her beg me to stop. She was already unsettled, and I didn't want to push it. Later, while she was in the shower, I sat watching TV in the living room when I caught it too. A barely there murmur coming from that same locked room. I muted the TV. This time I was certain it was a voice or maybe a recording. I texted the host right away. He claimed he had no idea why the door was locked and suggested maybe his wife had stored some things in there. He said he'd check with her. I didn't mention to Stacy that I'd heard the noise too. I didn't want her freaking out more than she already was. That afternoon, we ate at a place called Harrison's in town, then drove aimlessly for a bit to kill time. During the drive, the host called back. His wife swore she hadn't locked anything in that room. In fact, neither of them knew what could have been making noise inside. He offered to stop by and unlock the door himself. I agreed. By the time we got back, Stacy collapsed on the couch, exhausted. I lingered near the door again, listening. The sound was still there, a muffled, garbled rhythm of voices. Then it hit me. The window. Why hadn't I thought of it sooner? I walked around outside, heart pounding, until I found the window to that locked bedroom. No curtains, nothing blocking the view. I stood on my toes to peek in and froze. Inside, a man was standing in the middle of the room. He was grotesquely thin, tall, maybe mid-20s, with a hood pulled low over his face. In his hand was a small radio buzzing faintly. He swayed slowly, almost like he was dancing, and then he saw me. He stopped, turned his head, and smiled. I don't think I've ever screamed louder in my life. I bolted to the front door, yelling Stacy's name. "Get in the car, now!" Confused and terrified, she stumbled outside while I grabbed our bags and tossed them into the trunk. We sped off, leaving behind everything else we had unpacked. I called the host again, demanding he call the police immediately. An hour later, while we sat in town, the host rang back. Police had checked the cabin. The locked bedroom was empty, but under the bed, they found multiple empty chip bags and trash. Someone had been living there. We returned briefly to grab the rest of our belongings, but that night and the next 2 we stayed at a motel. I'll never forget what I saw through that window. That gaunt figure swaying with that eerie grin. The thought of him being inside the whole time we slept still makes my stomach drop. And for days after, I couldn't close my eyes without imagining him standing silently on the other side of a locked door. What would you have done if you saw someone living inside the place you rented? It happened one October night, the kind where the rain never seems to stop. I had just left a Halloween-themed housewarming party packed with people, probably 30 or more. I hadn't bothered with a costume since I came straight from work, already worn out from a long shift at the hospital. I forced myself to stay awake with a quick energy pill and grabbed a pack of drinks on my way there. The party was fun enough, music, chatter, strangers mingling, but honestly, I was running on fumes. I smiled, laughed, even pretended to enjoy myself, but deep down I just wanted to go home and collapse into bed. After a while, I decided to slip out unnoticed. No drawn-out goodbyes, just a quiet escape through the backyard. The rain was coming down harder by then, and I sprinted to my car, drenched by the time I slid into the driver's seat. I know I shouldn't have been driving after drinking. Don't ever do that. I'm not proud of it, But at that moment, I just wanted to hear the rain tapping on the windshield and enjoy a little silence. That's when I saw her, a girl maybe in her 20s, walking alone in the downpour. No coat, no umbrella. Her hair plastered to her face as she lifted her head toward my headlights. For a second, I thought about just driving past, but something about her made me hesitate. Against my better judgment, I pulled over and rolled down the window. "Do you need a ride?" I asked. Without saying a word, she opened the back door and slid into the seat. I glanced at her through the mirror, soaking wet, pale, and oddly calm. I asked where she was headed. She spoke softly. "Just down to the end of this road." I drove in silence, the rain the only sound filling the car. Trying to lighten the mood, I asked why she was out here in the storm. She answered flatly, "I was in a hurry back. Didn't want to call a cab." I laughed nervously and joked about how expensive ride shares could be. I introduced myself as Jake. She finally said her name was Ali. "Thanks for picking me up." Then silence again. I noticed a dead end sign approaching and asked, "Is it past the dead end?" No response. I glanced up at the rearview mirror to repeat myself and froze. Her seat was empty. My chest tightened. I slammed the brakes and whipped around, heart pounding. But the back seat was completely vacant. No door had opened, no sound, no movement. She had just vanished. Rain pelted against the roof as I stumbled out, checking the road around me. Nothing. No footsteps, no shadow. No sign of her at all. But then something else hit me. Her seat was dry. Completely dry. If she had been sitting there, drenched from the rain, it should have been soaked. Shivers ran down my spine. I turned slowly. And that's when I saw it right beside where I'd stopped. Beyond a worn wooden fence was a cemetery. Her words echoed in my head. "Just down to the end of this road." The end of the road was the graveyard. I scrambled back into my car, hands trembling as I pulled a sharp U-turn and sped away. The rain blurred the windshield, but I couldn't stop glancing at the mirror, terrified I might see her sitting there again, watching me. I'll tell you this much. I wasn't drunk enough to hallucinate. I know what I saw, or what I didn't. If you picked up a stranger in the rain and they vanished without a trace, would you keep driving? Or would you stop to look for them? Last October, my friends and I decided to check out a haunted corn maze in Oak Hill, Ohio. It had a reputation for being one of the scariest in the area. Out of respect for the family who runs it, I won't mention its name. I went with 3 friends, Joe, Carl, and Cody. Every year we make it a tradition to visit haunted houses or mazes around Halloween. While waiting in line, we overheard some kids whispering about how the maze had to shut down the year before because a customer was actually hurt by one of the workers. According to them, someone in costume shoved a guest hard enough that they had to close the attraction. That rumor stuck with us. It gave the night an edge. If it were true, it meant some of these actors might take things further than the usual jump scares. At first, though, it seemed like a typical haunted maze. A slow start, then the occasional scare people jumping from behind stalks of corn, sudden screams from hidden corners. Speakers hidden in the rows blasted eerie sound effects, and fake cobwebs and props littered the path. Then, we came to a fork. A wooden sign pointed 2 ways. To the left, it read, "This way to safety." To the right, "Danger, keep out." Naturally, we decided to split. Cody and I went left. The path twisted until we rounded a corner and saw him. A man stood there in complete silence, holding a pumpkin. His outfit was unsettling head-to-toe black, with a blank white mask covering his face. No nose holes, no mouth, just 2 empty eye cutouts. He didn't lunge at us or scream like the others had. Instead, he walked forward, lifting the pumpkin toward us. His voice was deep and gravelly, like someone straining to disguise it. "Take it," he whispered. We laughed awkwardly, brushing it off as part of the act. But he kept moving closer. "Take it, please." We sped up, expecting him to break character or retreat. Instead, he followed us. His voice grew sharper, angrier, repeating the same phrase over and over. "Take it, take it, take it." Then suddenly, "Take it or I'll kill you." It startled me, but I still figured it was part of the performance. A little extreme, but a performance nonetheless. To shut him up, I finally grabbed the pumpkin. Immediately, he stopped. Just stopped. Cody and I hurried ahead until the paths rejoined, where we met back up with Joe and Carl. They cracked jokes about the pumpkin, but I decided to keep carrying it anyway. The rest of the maze felt routine, more jump scares, more props. But then something strange happened. One of the actors, dressed like a zombie, broke character. He walked straight up to me, eyeing the pumpkin. "You can't take that," he said. I told him another worker had given it to me. "Which one?" he asked. "The guy in black," I replied. "With the blank mask." The actor frowned, then walked off in that direction without another word. It was weird enough that it rattled all of us. Eventually, we made it out of the maze. In the brighter light near the exit, I finally looked closer at the pumpkin. Its top was already cut like a lid. My curiosity got the better of me, so I lifted it. That's when my stomach dropped. Inside were severed human fingers. At first, I thought they were fake, maybe rubber props, but as I picked one up, the sickening reality hit me. It was real. There were at least 9 more stuffed inside, resting at the bottom of the pumpkin. On the outside, drawn in black marker, were 2 crudely sketched eyes and the words, "Always watching." Next to it, a crude smiley face. The 4 of us screamed and bolted toward the nearest staff member. She looked as horrified as we were and called for her manager. Within minutes, the entire attraction was shut down and police swarmed the area. They collected the pumpkin and its contents. From what we were told, the fingers were sent off for forensic analysis. To this day, I don't know if they ever found the body or the man in the mask. We left that maze alive, but the memory never left me. And sometimes when I think back to the way that man whispered, "Take it," I wonder if he was still out there, waiting for someone else to accept his gift. Would you have taken the pumpkin or walked away?